And boom, we're live. And I got to step away because I forgot my phone. So, yeah, is today the day I get my truck back? We will find out. It's currently 9 a.m. out here in Virginia. So, we will find out here in a few hours if my part shows up and if they can get working on the truck, and maybe I can get the truck back tonight or early tomorrow morning. And kind of go from there. I'll be honest, it's kind of sucked just sitting in a hotel room doing nothing. Like, my body's sore, my back is sore. I did just go out and go for a morning walk and stretch and stuff like that, but I feel like I've just been cooped up for far too long. And this isn't good. Like, I'll probably share some stuff today. Josh, hey, how's it going? Probably share some stuff this morning, just things that I think a lot of people deal with that nobody ever really talks about. And it's kind of like that elephant in the room that nobody discusses. And that's kind of like, morning, cattle hauling. Let's hope so, right? But I want to talk about like overall mental health in trucking, because the reality is a lot of us struggle with things and we always just put on a happy, smiley face and keep trucking and keep pushing forward. And morning, Aaron W. And we don't take time to really like take care of ourselves. Insult Investor, good morning. And I'll be honest, this whole experience, and especially being like kind of cooped up in this hotel the last, I don't even know how many days it's been now. I think Saturday is when I got here. I think that's right. I think I got here Saturday. It takes a toll on a person. You know what I mean? I think DIY 7C's, you're probably transport. You're probably right. He did go live. He saw I was live and went live. That's all right, though. We all love DIY. We all love cash. And if they want to step and squash my little channel, by all means, they can, because I respect those two guys. That was pretty damn funny today. And I'm not going to share inside information, but I got a phone call today that, yeah, they were messing with me, which is fine. I really respect those two. But getting back to what I was talking about, somebody like me, you know, this happened later in my life. And I don't mean to like, I just want to share some things with people, because I do think it's something that a lot of people struggle with that we don't talk enough about. When I was a little bit older in my life, I went through some hard times, meaning, you know, I went through a divorce. I went through some things that really knocked me to the ground, to be honest with you. And I got really, really depressed, like in my late 20s. My late 20s, I got really depressed. They won't mess with you if they don't love. Right. No, I agree with that, Aaron. But anyways, I got really depressed in my late 20s, and to the point where like just normal stuff was tough to do. And I don't deal with that crap now in my life. I honestly like kind of rebuilt my life probably about 10-15 years ago. Actually, yeah, it was about 14 years ago. I kind of rebuilt my life. And I'll tell you what, sitting here in this hotel room, not really interacting with people, not going outside as much as I probably should, like all that shit's starting to, it's almost like it's in me, and it makes me want to just sleep all day and not do anything. That's why I went live this morning. I got a phone call this morning that woke me up. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. I'm going to walk to the corner store, get some stuff I need. I'm going to walk around this hotel a few times. And I'm not comparing this to like being incarcerated or anything like that. But where I am, there's really nowhere for me to walk to. So yeah, you're just like kind of walking the grounds. And it's it takes a toll on a guy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everything's peachy because I think about everything. I've been stressed out about the truck. Well, now that I might get the truck, I'll get to comments here in a minute. I just want to finish this. Once I get the truck back, either tonight or tomorrow, I got to work. You know what I mean? Like, I got to work because for just a couple of things, that's my nature. I have a very good work ethic. I work hard. I like money. I want to expand my business. So like working is kind of number one. And then I have a vacation coming up with my family, which I'm looking forward to. But in the time frame when I left my house to when my vacation's coming, I thought maybe I'd get home for a weekend or a couple of nights here and there. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Um, it probably will, maybe for a night or two, but not like the duration that I wanted it to. So like this ordeal and sitting here in this hotel room, like it's easy for me to start thinking negatively. It's easy for me to like go in a downward spiral because like I said earlier, in my mid 20s, late 20s, that happened to me in my life. I went down a pretty dark road. Just with how I felt in life. And I already had 2 kids. Like life was good, except I allowed circumstances to dictate how I feel. I didn't allow anything to bring me real joy. And I see that a lot in truck driving. I have friends that are truck drivers that are just, I love them. They are some of my dearest friends, but they're freaking miserable and they hate their life. And I hear stories about wives being mad at their husbands or husbands being mad at their wives, kids hating their fathers or mothers because they're truck drivers and they're not home and they miss things, which that is a reality. We're all truck drivers in here, I'm sure. Or like a mechanic, like I know insult investors in here, but you have jobs that demand and require a lot of your time. That does take you away from certain things. And that's one thing I wish somebody would have said to me when I got my Class A CDL back in 2000. It was either 2000 or 99. It started out with a Class B, so it was in 99. And then in 2000, I got my A license. Like the demand that's going to be required of you once you hold this license and get a job. Because even my experience has been, even when I've been a local guy or home every day type of guy, it's not really like home time. I'm still missing everything. Unless I take a day off or say I need to leave early this day, which the jobs I've had as a local driver, it was hard to say, hey, I need to be done by 4:00 and actually be done by 4:00. It very seldom ever happened. So like mental health plays a role in this industry and we need to like be strong-willed. And what I mean by that is not like pricks or assholes. We just need to like build ourselves up and understand that we have a task at hand. Let's complete that task. Let's move on to the next thing without life's problems weighing us down. And that's kind of what I've been dealing with the last 4 days, to be honest with you, is it's easy for me to be a hermit. It's easy for me not to contact people. It's easy for me not to like honestly reach out to my wife. It's easy for me to shut down. And I think that happens to a lot of us. We get comfortable being isolated, being in a truck all day, not really wanting to talk to people if we stop at truck stops. Maybe I'm in the minority there. This is mainly my experience. But at some point, we have to look in the mirror and be like, what the F are you doing? Like, you need to get up. You need to shower. You need to like go. I don't run anymore. My knees are shot from hockey. But I need to get out and walk. I need to do my push-ups. I need to do my sit-ups. I need to feel like I'm productive, because it's easy when you're sitting in here not to feel productive. And it's easy to get trapped in that, well, I'm just going to eat snacks and I'm just going to eat shitty food and F this, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm live this morning. Is I woke up, showered, walked to the store, walked around the building, did my little routine. And then it's like, I need to interact with people. My wife's still sleeping. I'm sure it's only like 8 a.m. where she is, or what time is it? Yeah, it's 8 a.m. where she is, so I think she's probably still sleeping. But yeah, I'll get to some of these comments here. Yeah, I like that comment. Seven Seas Transport. Yeah. I think DIY just went live. Just yeah. Anyways, Sterling, good morning. Stuart, morning, sir. Stuart, cabin fever. Yeah. Yep. Kitty cat, get it off your chest. We always listen, and at least we don't let things consume you. Yeah, that's the whole point of this. Is that's my personality. That's my, I don't know how to phrase this. I I always hold everything in. Even when I was an athlete, like, and I'm not saying I was like upper echelon athlete, but like I was good at the sports I played. And they could have brought me places, not what I had envisioned them to bring me, but they could have brought me places. And I used to internalize all that stuff. If I had a bad game in hockey, especially in hockey, I used to I used to have trouble like getting over it, to be honest with you. And then, like I said, as I got older in life, certain things that we all deal with were just like too hard for me to deal with. Um, and this experience dealing with the truck for the last, God, I think we're on like 20 some days now. I'll look, the money aspect. Now, I am not like flexing here. I am not saying I'm balling out of control, but like the money aspect is not an issue in my life anymore. It's just not. I have set myself up to make this work in a good market and a bad market. I have set myself up to be able to afford anything that might need to be done to the truck, whether that's my business credit or cash. I'm not worried about any of those things, but it's when I need to continue to try and fix a problem that I believe is somebody else's problem, meaning the shop's problem, that I can get overwhelmed with that stuff. And when that stuff happens to me, I tend to want to hide, if that makes sense. And it took me a long time in my life to like realize, don't run away from the tough situations, attack the tough situations, and learn from those situations, whether you fail or you succeed, learn from them. And just sitting here in this hotel, I woke up, I went to bed last night after doing a live that I'm sure you all saw with DIY, and a bunch of people ended up coming in, and I left and went to sleep. And then I woke up and I was up. What time was it? It was like maybe 1:30 in the morning, and I couldn't fall back to sleep. And I finally fell back to sleep for another hour or two, and then woke up and like, dude, you need to be motivated. You need to do things. You need to be productive today. The worst thing for me is not being productive. That's when I get in my head, and whatever is in me, like that's when that shit veers its ugly face, and I see it. You know what I mean? And I get I isolate myself. And that's the most dangerous place for me to be. Like as an individual, like I can't isolate myself to the point where like getting out of a hotel room bed is hard. I don't know if any of you have ever been there, but like when I get like that, I worry like, oh, because of what I've experienced in my life, like I never want to be in that spot again. So like it scares me, to be honest with you. And I thought I would just talk about it. Cattle Hauling says, my wife has put up with my trucking stuff for over 25 years now. It takes a special person to put up with it. Yeah, it absolutely does. And my wife is absolutely amazing. I mean, I've talked about her a lot on YouTube. There's no question that she is the foundation of our family. She holds everything together. She is my biggest supporter, along with my daughters. So yeah, it takes that special breed of person, whether it's a husband on the road or a wife on the road, to like be that person at home that takes care of everything while we're out on the road. I couldn't agree more with that. I am aggressively introverted and totally have anxiety over. Yeah, Sterling, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I don't like feeling like a hermit because it makes it easier not to fucking be productive. Excuse my French. I'm sorry for cursing, but that's the truth. And when I'm not productive, like that's when whatever was wrong with me freaking 15 years ago, that's when all that shit comes back. Is when I cut myself, or when not when I cut myself, when I isolate myself, you know what I mean? I don't cut myself. um, Josh says you are Sterling. Okay, I read that. Josh says you are right on the money. I also struggle with this issue. Yeah, I think a lot of us do, and none of us want to talk about it. None of us want to talk about, you know, like how we really feel at times. None of us want to, because it doesn't really, doesn't, especially if you do YouTube, it doesn't grab a lot of people's attention. They don't want to listen to some guy crying on YouTube or saying, "Oh, my life is hard." You know what I mean? Well, life is hard, and sometimes it's harder than yesterday, and we should talk about that. And for some people, and I'm not in this category, but I see it, like one little thing can just put you down, like won't allow you to get out of bed. Like that is a real freaking thing that happens to people. And that's the thing that scares me the most, because just my personality and who I am and how I operate, when I don't have things to accomplish, or my kids aren't right around me, or my wife's not around me, and I'm, as far away from them as I am, like it would be very easy for me to like jump into every temptation I have. And one of those things is like being a hermit and isolating myself and not reaching out to people and not talking to people. And I know where that leads. Like I've lived that life, and I never want to live that life again. That's why I thought I'd talk about it this morning. By the end of the week, everything will sort itself out. Okay, hold on. I missed insult. At Sterling, people are the most dangerous animals on the planet. We are. Sterling says, by the end of the week, everything will sort itself out. Yeah, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited to get my truck back. DIY, semi, trucking, and more. Your truck fixed yet? Not yet, DIY. That part should arrive this afternoon, and then then they can hopefully get it done. Cash is king. Hey now. Morning, YouTube. How are you guys doing this morning? You gonna do a live show? Wouldn't surprise me. Anyways, the insult investor at DIY trucking and more. It was the stereo. The music he played on it caused the short, and the truck refused to go any farther. Yeah. You talking about the music I like? I'm not gonna pretend I don't like rap music. And when I say that, I'm not talking like the new school, like where you can't understand what they're saying. I like old school hip hop. I like Snoop Dogg. I like Dr. Dre. I like Nas. I like old school hip hop. And I'm not ashamed of that. I still like rock. I still like all those things, but probably my favorite genre is old school hip hop, DIY semi, you're a cutter. No, I'm not a cutter. I don't know why I said that. I was saying like cutting myself down, because that's what I do. Like it's hard for me to like take accolades. Does that make sense? So I'll cut myself down and think that I don't deserve certain things I have, because I'm I don't mean any disrespect. I cut myself down and think I'm not worthy of the things I have because I'm just like a truck driver. Now, that was old school thinking. Like that's how I used to think in my career. And like I've said before, I've been in this industry. I keep saying like 20 years. It's more like 22 years. And it took me a long time to be comfortable with like the career path I chose. So like I cut myself down. I didn't mean I cut my butt, like my arms or anything. And you know that. You've seen me. DIY semi says, I'm praying for you. We all are. Why are you doing that stuff to me? You can do whatever you want for me. I don't care. Cash is king, praying, yeah. Sterling says this morning as I scored the handicapped shower at the truck stop. All the bars on the wall were loose. What awful things happened that caused that? Make me laugh. Yeah. I'm sure. Deadly duo are, yeah. Right Nomadic, the duo are in here and they're gonna hijack this. Heading to Duluth in a few. Oh, really? You got work up there? You gonna go hang out up in Duluth, Aaron? I love Duluth. I'm from northern Minnesota, north of Duluth, but I love Duluth. And my family actually has a property. My mom and dad they have a couple of properties in that area, but they live in a small township that's north of Duluth right now. And then they just bought like a new kind of lake home cabin thing on the other side of the lake over on the Wisconsin side, but northern Wisconsin, beautiful area right on the lake. It's gorgeous. I love that area. What's your hip hop name? I don't have a hip hop name yet, DIY. T's and P's. Oh, you're going to get me in trouble. That's the thing. My metal name is Mutual Investor, Destroyer of Worlds, and Collector of Bones. Okay. Grabbing a load to Milwaukee. Oh, okay. Duluth to Milwaukee. That's not a bad run. How are you going to get there? Are you just going to head back down to 94? Or are you going to cut across and then work your way down, cut across northern part of Wisconsin? Freight lane pain train. I felt like I was in. Hold on, sorry. It felt like I was an impossible task taking off my intake manifold to the truck stop parking lot, but it felt awesome when I just sucked it up and started wrenching on it. Yeah, and that like I really haven't taken a lot of things apart on my truck, but like I'll share something. Like when my starter went out, like I knew how to get my truck started and it felt good. And this sounds dumb, and I don't mean like we all deal with this, but like the other day when I spent hours on the phone calling tons of different shops, different states, and actually finding my own parts and setting up everything, like that does feel good. Like I conquered something that before I probably would have called like DIY to help me out. And not that I haven't talked to him about the situation I'm in, but like, I want to do this stuff on my own. I want to figure it all out. 2 to 53 to 94. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the way I would go. Catch you kids later, picking up tomorrow. Huh. Sweet. Well, you take it easy, Sterling. Yeah, so getting back to what I was saying is just there's times in life for me that I need to just like get up out of bed. You know what I mean? And that was one of these mornings. I got a call that woke me up, which I'm glad because I probably would still be laying in bed. And I have no reason to be laying in bed. I haven't done anything in like, I don't know how long it's been now. I did drive with the guy that gave me a ride down here. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about truckers helping out other truckers. And I understand the guy that gave me a ride down here is leased onto the same carrier I'm leased onto, but he did not have to do what he did. And the experience was actually a really good one because I've done that before. Like I've had other people in my truck and try and help them out. And it was not a good experience for me. Matter of fact, it was like miserable. And what this guy did for me, like opened the doors for me to help somebody out again, in the same situation that I was in. Why aren't you working? You know why I'm not working. Don't start with me. DIY. But that guy did me a huge solid by giving me a ride down here. I'll share like what I did and let me know in the chat if you think it was enough or if I should do more. Now, mind you, like I've talked to this guy and we seem to be straight, you know what I mean? Like kosher on what happened. I know I'm going to get shit from DIY now for saying that word. But I did most of the driving so he could keep his hours and maybe get a reset in. I paid for all of our meals. I paid for, what else did I pay for? Just all of our food. Anytime we stopped, the only thing I didn't pay for was like he smoked cigarettes and he had bought a carton of cigarettes. I didn't pay for those, but I paid for everything. Then when we got here to drop me off, there was a ATM across the street and I went and got him cash and went to give him some cash. And he's like, no, man, we're good. Like, don't worry about it. And the way he viewed it was he had a load that he didn't really drive on. He maybe drove like 10 minutes of that load. And he's like, I made X amount of dollars on this load and I didn't have to do any work for it. So we're even, you know what I mean? And I thought that was pretty cool. Cattle Holland says, got to unload, stay positive. Hope you get your truck back today. Yeah, thank you. I hope I get it back today too. I hope I get it back tonight or right away in the morning tomorrow. If it stretches beyond that, like, I'm just going to be really pissed off. And honestly, if that happens, since you're in here, if that happens, I'm deadheading home and I'm just going to go home for a night or two since you're in here. If that truck is not ready tonight or tomorrow, like, then we're talking, I've been here for 7 days on something they told me to come out here on Friday to get. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to get on here, like I said, talk about like overall mental health and like taking care of our bodies and eating, you know, trucking with diabetes, Cash's other channel. I've shared with him, like, I cook a lot of my own food in my truck and it's because of his channel. I feel like I can eat healthier. I feel better. Like I'm not eating, you know, here, hold on. So where I'm at has, they have breakfast, but it's not like warm breakfast or cereal. It's just stuff like this, you know, these Danishes and muffins. So what did I do this morning? I went down and got 2 of these cheese-filled Danishes, which I probably won't even eat. Like, that's the stuff I'm talking about. It's so easy to like grab stuff like that and eat it, but like that doesn't make you feel good. Like you might like the sweet side of it, but it doesn't like help your body feel good and it doesn't help your mind feel good. And that's important. It's important to stay. When I'm done trucking, I want to be able to walk. I don't want to be like overweight. I have never had to take any type of like blood pressure medication or anything like that. And I don't want trucking to like cause that for me. You know what I mean? I want to stay fit. I want to stay, you know, mobile, because when I retire from trucking, I still want to live my life. I still want to go ice fishing. I still want to go open water fishing. I want to go travel with my wife. So I want to stay like physically, not like fit where I'm bodybuilder, but I want to stay healthy physically and mentally. I do not want to like deteriorate, you know, because that can happen. It's so easy for that to happen. When I think you meant to say, when life makes it too hard to stand, you kneel. I'm not a big kneeler, DIY. That probably won't happen. And that's not a political statement. I just, you know, whatever. You got to always get me going. But Yeah, so now today we just sit here and wait. We play the waiting game, which is fine. Um, that's kind of what this whole process has been for me is wait, hurry up and wait. Um, the one cool thing that I figured out yesterday was so I spent a lot of money on an Uber to go like 2.5 miles to where the dealership is. And then I walked back. And long story short, I was talking to the people up at the front desk yesterday, and the operations manager was here, and he's like, where do you need to go? And I told him the name of the dealership my truck's at. He's like, next time you need to go up there, just let us know at the front desk. And he's like, we'll give you a ride. And he's like, if you're not going to be there, he's like, if you're there for an hour, just call us. Like they'll drop me off and I can call them and they'll come back and pick me up, which I think is super cool. And like I've shared before, this hotel, um, it's not like a Hilton or something like that, but they have redone everything in this hotel. It is very clean, very nice, and the staff is absolutely fantastic. And if you watched a video from the other day, like housekeeping came and took my laundry and like did my laundry for me, and now they're giving me rides. And it's not like they have a shuttle. The guy's just like, we'll give you a ride in our car, which, hey man, I that goes a long way. If I'm ever in this area again, I'll come and stay at this hotel again just because of the service I've received. Um, you know, and now my hotel budget, like I got a nomadic Brit made a comment about that the other day, and I overlooked it, but he's right. Like I've been staying in a lot of hotels lately. I better have a budget for my hotels. um, I don't want to stay in hotels. I'm forced to. Oh, coffee's not bad. I just wish, look how little the cup is. Like I wish the cup was bigger. So, so yeah, does anybody want to chat about anything, talk about anything? I just think like I don't want to sound like preachy. Like if you're struggling with anything in your life, like handle it. And I don't mean that in like a sarcastic way. I mean like we all deal with certain things, and some of us deal with, you know, things worse than others, but it doesn't mean that we don't understand what you might be going through. Perfect example is I got a good friend that he's overseas right now. Um, and he called me one day and he's like, all I want to do is hear like a familiar voice. He's like, so just talk to me. And it was like, wow, like this is one of I grew up with this dude. Like he is such a close friend of mine. He's a brother of mine. And he's like, it's just been really hard over here on this deployment. And I just want to hear a familiar voice. And it was like, okay, yeah, let's chop it up. Let's talk. But for him to say that, like we all should say things like that. We should all say, hey, I'm struggling with this right now. Can I vent to you? You know what I mean? Instead of internalizing everything. Because like I said, I know, excuse me, I know for me, when I internalize it, I can go off the rails pretty damn quick, you know. Um, every driver should get a CLC card for hotels. So yeah, like I mean, I have not a CLC card, but I have all the rewards cards from the hotels I stay at. The truth is, like, I really like Holiday Inns and like Holiday Inn Expresses, right? The problem is that I've ran into is a lot of the Holiday Inn Expresses don't have like truck parking. Now, like your Super 8s and things like that, or like hotels by Wyndham, usually will have truck parking. Like even this hotel I'm at now has truck parking. So I tend to use those hotels because I get points for free stays and stuff like that, but they're just easy in and out. You know what I mean? I can pull the truck in. Right now, I don't have a truck to drive, so I walked in. But I've taken a couple of resets on the road where I'm able to pull the truck right into the hotel, or I've had my wife meet me at hotels before when I'm kind of in the Minnesota area, and I know she can get away for a night or two. She'll come and meet me at a hotel. DIY semi, chop it up. Where have I heard that before? Did I steal something from you? Oh, housekeeping. Hold on. I'll make sure that's not my door. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Wow, you stayed. It was housekeeping. I thought they were knocking on my door, but they were knocking on the door next to me. But they are going to clean my room today, which, okay, they can make my bed, I guess. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to get on live. I felt like I wasn't competing with two big channels like DIY Semi and Cash is King. So I thought, a little channel like me, a guy like me, I can go live early and catch the 10 people that are up early, and then the big channels can go live at night to get the hundreds of people watching them. I understand where I stand in that pecking order. So yeah, I would love it if they promoted small channels though. Maybe come on and let me talk to them or share wisdom on my channel, but maybe someday I'll get there. Nomadic Brit, isn't Uber Eats or DoorDash around you? Yeah, DoorDash is, and I've ordered DoorDash. The other night I ordered I think it was like a 20-ounce New York strip. There's a steakhouse like 30 miles away from here. It was expensive to get DoorDash to bring it to me, but they didn't. That's the other thing. Like the things that are around here to eat, I don't want to pay for them. Like I don't want to get McDonald's. I think there's a Burger King not far from here that DoorDash will get for me. So, I walked up to the little convenience store and got some cereal. Like I like Cheerios. I know that's lame, but I bought some Cheerios and some milk, and a banana. So that's what I'll have for breakfast today. You could go jogging on the bridge behind you. Yeah, I could. I've taken that stroll. If you look way over here, there's a rope tied to there. I might try bungee jumping off of it. See what happens. Tell you what, if I don't get that truck tonight or tomorrow, yeah, that's going to be more. And it's not going to be jogging. I can't jog anymore. My knees. So I played hockey very competitively. And over the course of time, I never did tear like a ACL or an MCL or anything like that. But my knees they're like a lot more, they're weak. That's the best thing I can say is my knees are weak. Like they're not, I know that I have tendons in there that are like, they're not ripped, but they're not like tight. So like my knees get loose. So when I start running a lot, they swell up. My knees swell up pretty bad. So I don't run anymore. Freight lane pain train. We are soldiers. Feel like it is weakness to talk to someone. Okay. That's not the case. It's worse for your mental health if you just bottle it up. And when you aren't even, yes, so I agree with you 100%. And I'm not a soldier. Like I've never been in the military, but my friend has told me that, but it's also like, we're away from our families, we're away from our kids, we're away from like our friends. And maybe all you like operate different than me, and you like have designated times that you're at home. But like when my truck's up and running, I try and work as much as I can. Now, I do take time off. I take time off for like vacations and holidays and stuff like that. And it is a long time off. You know what I mean? DIY and Cash mess with me about that all the time, but it's the truth. But you know what? I'll come out here and run, I'll come and work a month or 2 months and then take a week or two off. You know what I mean? I have no problem working. However, when I can't work and I'm stagnant, and especially when this is out of my control, like I don't want to get, like I could be at home right now. Like there is no reason for me to be here other than I was able to get eyes on my truck and I know it's the right thing for me to be here. it's so hard to like just accept that this is where I am right now. And it's easy for me not to open the blinds, not to turn the lights on, to stay curled up in this bed. And that's not going to get me anywhere. Um, so I thought I would talk about it. And, I guess for me, I'll share something with you guys real quick. And thank God I'm not a big channel. Like, in all honesty, like 8, 9 people in here, it makes it a lot easier just to say, hey, I've gone through struggles in my life and this is how I've rebounded. When I say I changed my life like 15 years ago, I really did. Like, I changed my whole outlook on life. And what I mean by that is I learned to accept life. I learned how not to try and like fight it, if that makes sense. Life's going to happen, and some of it's going to be fucking awesome, and other parts are going to suck. And you just need to accept it. And you're going to be high one day, and you might be low the next day. Well, when you're low that day, prepare as hard as you can for the next day to be like positive. And when I started using that mind frame and like almost convincing myself, now this isn't a time in my life where like a lot of stuff was falling apart. I mean, I had gotten a divorce. I had moved to a different state. I didn't see my kids for a couple of months until they moved out and lived with me. So like everything that was normal to me in my life literally changed very quickly. And trying to maneuver around that and try to be positive was something that was very, very difficult for me. And once I changed that mentality and realized, okay, this is where you are right now, it doesn't mean you're going to be here tomorrow. Like things got a lot better. But for some reason, there's something in me that when it triggers those old feelings of being in like North Dakota, completely isolated and by myself, like that's when those shitty feelings take over and I don't want to get out of bed or I don't want to like be productive. So it's something that I still deal with. It just doesn't, I realize what I'm dealing with and I attack it. And I believe every one of us can do that, whether you're a male or a female. Like change your thinking, change your mind type of mentality. The only part of my life that sucks is when people lie. When people lied on my end, possibly tried to destroy me for some slight that just their own financial gain. Cops, family, and random people. Wow. So I haven't experienced that insult. Like I have a very small family and we're very close knit. So I haven't experienced that. I haven't experienced like cops or people trying to take advantage of me. They all lie. Okay. I've had friends that do that, and they're just not my friends anymore. Plain and simple. I don't fuck with you if you're going to, God, I got to stop cursing. If you don't bring something to me, like I have no time for you. And I'm not saying that in like a self-centered, selfish way. Like if you can't improve my life and you like drain me down, I got no time for you. And I am an asshole. Like I'm not going to pretend I'm not. But like the people that are in my circle, the people that I hang out with, the people that I am friends with, like we do that to each other. Like we bring something to them. Like I think about my ice fishing friends, right? All my ice fishing crew, my fishing partners, they're all like 60 years old. I'm 41. They're a lot older than me. But you know what? Like I have learned so many cool life lessons from them because they are older than me. And they like have learned a lot of like little like young guys. Like they make fun of me. Like when I was making videos when we were ice fishing, they're like, oh, Scott's making movies. And they were ripping on me all the time. But you know what? The final product, when I sent it all to them, they absolutely loved it. And they're like, this is so cool. I wish I knew how to do this. So like everybody that's in my circle is in my circle for a reason. And if you can't contribute to like my life, I just don't got time for you. And I'm not talking like monetary or like if you're a negative person or you are just a, I just don't got time for you, you know. The insult investor says, hard to accept that, but not shit I can do about it. Well, there's lots of stuff you can do about it, insult. Like, you don't have to associate with people that treat you that way. And it sucks. And you might feel like letting go of those people is something you can't do because they're family or something like that. I'm here to tell you, you absolutely can. And you know what? Because I've done it. Sometimes when you do that, those people actually take a look at themselves and realize that they are the ones that are wrong, and they change. And then you can either be friends with them again or associate with them. I was nearly killed on a road rage teenager smashed into me at 120 miles an hour when I was doing 85. He hit me from behind because I had honked at him for cutting in front of me. The cops lied. He lied. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry you went through that. I've never experienced that in my life, but insult, I don't know you, but not everybody's out to get us. You know what I mean? Like, they're just not. And if we change, we change the people that we surround ourselves with. Oh, DIY semi, you are now our equal. Okay. Insult investor, and no one stayed to be a witness for me. Yeah, that sucks, man. But here's the thing, insult. Like, we've all been there. We've all had something happen in our lives where we thought we were in the right, or we thought that whatever happened wasn't our fault, and then nobody was there to like contradict what we were saying. And then it does become like a he said, she said type of thing where it sucks. It sucks. I've been in that position. I just haven't been rear-ended going that fast. Okay, good. I saw your other comment. You let those people go decades ago. Good. Grade 8 transport. Good morning, sir. We're kind of heavy here this morning. I'm sorry for that. But how can I say this? It's easy to hide behind the clout. Let's be honest. If you are an owner operator right now, you're probably killing it. And if you're not, you're doing something wrong. And I'm sorry, and I'm not being an asshole to you. If you are not killing it right now as an owner operator, you are doing something wrong. It's nobody else's fault. Like, we are in a market that allows us, DIY said it last night in his live, like, now I'm educated. Like, I don't mean that rudely. Like, I went to college. Trucking's just been like, I'm a third generation trucker. It's in my blood. It's what I've chose to do. But I didn't go and become a doctor or a lawyer, but yet I make that kind of money. You know what I mean? So it would be easy to come on here and always just talk about like all the flashy stuff or all the cool things and like how great my life is, because my life has changed a lot. However, like, I still deal with problems. I still have shit. You know what I mean? I still struggle with things. I still at times feel like I'm not worth what I'm worth, if that makes sense, because I don't know. Sometimes I struggle with that. I struggle with the position that I'm in life, you know, because I'm also aware that could be gone at any time. I've been high before. Here we go, DIY. I have been on the top of the mountain before, and I have freaking fell from it. I have thought life could not get any better, and then all of a sudden I've been down here again, down in the foothills, and it was a long fall, and it hurt like hell. So like, now that I feel like I'm still up here, in my mind, I always think like at any moment this could be gone. It could just be gone. So like I have positioned myself that if that happens, like my family is going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. We're not going to lose anything. Um, it's just, I find it really funny that a lot of us come on here on YouTube and it's always the good. It's always the good. It's always, this is the car I'm buying. This is the house I'm buying, which are all great things. Like I could not be happier for people. But what about the days that you like don't want to get out of bed? What about the days where like your daughter calls you and you can't really help her? What about when your wife calls you and she's going through something and you can't be there? Like that happens every day. That happens to all of us. So that might put us like if we really do care about our families, that might put us in a down mood. Well, let's talk about that. How'd you get over that? How'd you help your daughter when you're 1,500 miles away? How did you comfort your wife or your husband when you're 1,500 miles away? You know, um, and in turn, how did they comfort you? You know what I mean? Like I said, my wife is like my biggest supporter. I am a lucky, I am so damn lucky. And I struggle with that, to be honest with you. Like I don't deserve what's in my life. I struggle with that. Um, so like sometimes we should talk about those things. And like I said, that's why I'm glad I'm a small channel right now. I do have aspirations and dreams, just like all of us that do YouTube. Like it would be awesome to make money on YouTube. It'd be awesome to be like the next Asian Mai or the next Just Truckin' or even like the next Nevada or something. You know what I mean? Like it would be freaking awesome. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of freaking work. But the fact that I'm small, I can talk about certain things and it's not going to like go all over the internet. You know what I mean? I can honestly like be myself and it's not going to go all over the internet. Um, and I think if we all took time and talked about all the positive things in trucking, everything that we've experienced, all the positives, and we never talk about the negatives, we're doing people a disservice. And when I say the negatives, like not scare them, like, oh, you're going to blow a motor and go bankrupt, like everything people told me when I wanted to be an owner operator. But what I said earlier, like, how do you console your daughter when you're 1,500 miles away? How do you parent when you're 1,500 miles away? How do you let your wife or your husband know how much you care about them over the telephone? You know what I mean? That's hard at times. I struggle with that. I'm not going to lie. There's days like, I mean, I talk to my wife every single day, but there's days that I know I don't give her the attention that I should. I'll just be honest. I know there's days that I let her go and I hear it in her voice, but it's like I need to sleep. You know what I mean? And I get very selfish and self-centered. And then I wake up and I'm like, fuck, what did I just do? I need to call her. You know what I mean? Those are real struggles. And that's why like marriages end, especially in this industry. That's why marriages end. That's why kids hate us, is because we kind of sometimes become too self-centered where it's all about, I need my rest. I need to eat. The job's demanding too much of me. No, it's not. Like we can do better. I know I can do better. So if I can do better, I know other people can. You know what I mean? Um, I'll get caught up on some of these comments. Insult investor. If it wasn't for that, I would be trying to get a CDL to use my truck, but I refuse to go play the kangaroo court game in Colorado. Okay. I got it. I got a 10-year driver's license, and in Cali, oh, okay. Yeah, I know you've said that before. I'm good. Okay, good. I'm glad you're good, investor. it sucks when people struggle, especially with, like, I know that you guys don't know me and I don't know you like on a personal level, but I am the type of person, like, when I see things, it's like, damn, man, like I have empathy for people. That's the truth. I have empathy for people. And that's part of like what I see in society is like kind of degrading, meaning it's not, the empathy is no longer there. You're either here or you're here. You can't be in the middle anymore. And if you're here, you're going to attack here. And if you're here, you're going to attack here. What the hell are we doing? Like, what about building all of us up? Stop canceling people. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean that they're not entitled to that opinion. You know what I mean? Whether you agree with everything I'm saying today, if you don't, you're entitled to that. And if you want to have a debate or be respectful, by all means, let's do it. But canceling people and labeling people certain things is absolutely ridiculous. And it doesn't get us anywhere. And the truth of the matter is, I probably sit on different aisles than you guys do, guys and girls, but that's okay. That's okay. Anyways, and that was just a rant. Grade 8 transportation says, please clarify what you feels is killing it. Are you talking about money, grade 8? So I don't like talk about money on my channel, like what I make. Killing it for me is, how can I say this? I don't worry about anything when it comes to money. I don't worry about a thing. My house, my properties, I don't worry about anything. And that's not saying, but here's the downside of that is a lot of my money goes back into my business. I don't really pay myself a whole lot of money. I mean, I just don't. I've lived a life of very modest lifestyle. So I've continued to live that life. I've just set myself up for the future. I have maxed out retirement funds. I think that's killing it. When I was a company guy, I could never max out my 401k. I could never max out my IRA in a year. I'm able to do that now. Killing it is like what you need. You know what I mean? Grade 8, just because I'm comfortable, let's just throw out numbers. Let's say I'm comfortable bringing home $6,000 a week, right? Let's just use that round numbers. Let's say I'm comfortable and I don't need to make any more than $6,000 a week. I am fine with that, right? And let's say that's take home. That's not gross. That's net. Let's say $6,000 a week. Even let's say $5,000. $5,000 a week profit, right? After my expenses and things like that. If I don't need to make any more than that, and that's good for me, that might not be good for you. You know what I mean? It's all relative. It's all in expenses. It's all in what you want to set yourself up for tomorrow. So when I say killing it, it means you'll never, you've seen videos of my house, kind of like me walking out of it. I drive the same cars. I drive the cars that I had, that I've had for years. I haven't bought anything. Now I have invested in property. I have invested in my IRAs. I've invested money, but killing it means this family vacation I'm going on. There's just things I do differently now than I ever did in my life before. That's killing it to me. It doesn't need to be, if you want to come out here and you only need to make $50,000 a year and you want to own your own truck, and that's, after your expenses, you're bringing home $50,000 in this market, and that's all you need, then you're killing it. You understand what I'm saying? Some people would look at that and be like, well, you're losing. Not if that person doesn't have any expenses. They're not losing anything. They're living their life on $50,000 and probably are better off than the guy that's bringing home $250,000. It's all personal, like, wealth, if that makes sense. And for me, killing it is just, I don't worry about anything. No, I just don't worry. I don't know if that answered your question, but that's how I feel. Let me get some of these comments. Josh, if you stay true to who you are at this moment, your channel will grow, no doubt. Not many people talk about real life thoughts and feelings and situations as drivers. Yeah, and like I said, we all have dreams, especially if you do YouTube. You want to be like, it would be cool to make money on YouTube, but in all honesty, that's not why I do it. I do it because I don't want to isolate. I do it because I enjoy making videos that my daughters see. That's why I do it. And I'm not the greatest at it, but it's enjoyment. That's why I do it. It gives me a little bit of a purpose. The Insult Investor says, grade 8 transportation. It depends on what state you live in. Oh, did I miss something here? Okay. Grade 8 transport says, at Insult, compared to, we can make more at $1 a mile than many people around the world. What's the reference? Yeah, no, that's absolutely true, that we can make more at $1 a mile than most people around the world can make. I'm saying, in this market, if you're making $1 a mile, you're doing something wrong. If you're an owner operator, I've seen company positions for $1 a mile. But Freight Pain Train, the more you go through as a family, the easier it becomes. My wife has been on the phone when the Taliban started a coordinated attack, hearing a rocket explosion, and I have to hang up and fight. Oh my goodness. That's a bro, that's a different level of anxiety that your wife and you go through. That's something I've never experienced. Thank you for your service, by the way. I really appreciate it. This isn't shit now. Okay. No, and see that. So I'll share something else. So I got a couple of buddies that are in the military, right? And they're married, have kids. And when I wanted to become an owner operator, this was probably 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I was talking to my wife about it, and I used my buddies as an example. Hey, they're gone sometimes up to a year and a half. If it's a long deployment, usually it's 9 months, 10 months. And she had said to me, if you were in the military, Scott, I wouldn't have been interested in you. She didn't want a life like that. Well, that's the exact, not comparing it to the military, but I'm gone all the time now. So over the course of time and communication with her and building our relationship to where it is today, this is doable now. So yeah, if you were overseas and your wife heard you being attacked, I can't imagine how she feels. So yeah, it's probably a lot easier for your family now. Cash is King Trucking. One lease notice fuel went up 20 cents this weekend. Oh my goodness. Did it really? Nomadic Brit. Cash. Yep. The Schneider just gave us contractors the fuel discount for next 2 weeks, and it went down another 6 cents. My goodness. Fuel's getting crazy. Thank goodness I'm bobtailing out of here. Not making any money, but I'll get good fuel mileage, at least bobtailing. DIY semi-trucking and more. You still going on vacation in March? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Cash is king. I don't worry about money and trucking. I got faith that God will provide. Shit. Yeah. I'm glad you have that connection, that personal connection. Don't bash people that don't though. Sean, do you think DIY will put you in his will? I think I already am. No. No. Uh, what's funny about this whole, I mean, I don't want to share too, like, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like DIY has become my friend in this process. You know what I mean? Um, no, if he does put me in his will, he's gonna give me like old cheese or something. Like it will be something that I'll just shake my head at and laugh and think, well, you got me again, because that's all he does. You know, I think he lives to like make fun of me and put me down. DIY semi trucking and more cash with pray. Okay. Like even right now, I don't want to divulge too much because I'll probably lose all my subscribers. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna publicly say this. DIY semi and cash is king. Someday you're gonna regret how much you pick on me. I'm just saying. Someday you're gonna look at this and be like, man, we were so hard on that kid. I don't know. I need to get better. Like I need to be able to like attack them the way, not attack. Like I need to be able to. Here's the thing. Like I divulge too much information, so then they take that information. They're very good at like not divulging too much information. So DIY semi trucking and more. You can get a tractor. A tractor. I don't like tractors. I'm not like you. I don't know how to plow a field. That's what she said. Cash is king trucking. Fuel is over $5 a gallon in California now. The Loves in Arkansas is over $4 a gallon. You are kidding me. For real? That tells you how long I haven't driven a truck. That tells you right there how long I haven't been on the road driving a truck. Because I fueled up, let's see, when would that have been? Granted, it was Wisconsin, but I think I fueled up for, I think it was like 320 a gallon over a week ago, I think, when I fueled up. Insult Investor says, okay. I'll rent you my backhoe truck if you ever come out to California. What am I gonna do with a backhoe truck? Dig trees or like dig stuff to plant trees? I've been paying about $5 a gallon for gas in California for 2 years. My goodness. Luckily, we live in a small town. Yeah, that plays a role. So what's funny about that is where I live in Minnesota. I almost said where I live, son of a bitch. Where I live in Minnesota is I live in a suburb of St. Paul and Minneapolis, right? So right where I live, fuel prices. So if you drive, I don't know, 15 minutes to the south of where I live, south, or actually it's north, it's northeast. If you drive 15 minutes northeast of where I live, you can get fuel for like 30 cents cheaper at a Fleet Farm. It's ridiculous. Fuel prices. Fuel's $4.10 in Texas. My goodness. I think that's where cash is in Texas. Oh, Insult Investor says, LOL. No, you don't dig with it with the backhoe. The truck moves the backhoe. Okay. Filled up with premium diesel at $3.89 a gallon in Wisconsin last night. Was at the Quick Trip. Okay. I love Quick Trips. Quick Trips with a K are awesome. And actually, when I'm in Minnesota or Wisconsin, I fuel up with that premium diesel too. I don't feel like I have to treat it as much like with anti-gel. I still treat it, but I feel like I don't double dose it. Put it that way. The anti-gel I use, I usually double dose it, especially if it's super cold out. But I've noticed when I've been at Quick Trips and get that Premier Diesel, it's phenomenal. Insult Investor says, I heard you can make good money if you have a truck and the backhoe. Too bad I can't get the CDL. Well, is there like any like time frame? Like what do you call that? Somebody that's smarter than me, like when you what's it called? It's a legal term where like if you commit a crime over a certain amount of time, that crime like just goes away. I forget the term. One of these days you'll look back and appreciate how tough we are on you. I know, Cash. You know, man, I respect you too. Let's just call a spade a spade. Like I respect you too. You guys have helped me. I like, you know how earlier I talked about like my circle and the people that I surround myself with. I mean, you two are obviously in that circle, so I respect you. It's just you guys can get me all the time. All the time. A perfect example was last night. You guys are very good at squashing my dreams. Let's just be honest. Insult Investor says, I really need, there you go. Statute of limitations. I really need a good lawyer. No statute of limitations in Colorado. Okay. That sucks. That sucks, man. But you got to be doing pretty good as a mechanic. You know, you really want to drive truck. Like I'm not being rude. Like you live in California. There's lots of trucking in California, especially if you're near a port. Like you're probably doing pretty well as a mechanic. Felonies, you can get expunged after some number of years, I believe, depending on the state. Yeah, I've never had to do that, but I know there's ways to get around it. I do okay. I have like 20 cars. Yeah, so enjoy those cars. Why become a truck driver? Enjoy those cars. Have fun. Like enjoy those things. You know, I've sat here. Housekeeping. Coming in. All right. Let me wrap up what I'm doing here real quick. That's fine. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here real quick. Housekeeping's here to clean my room. So stay safe out there. Till next time, you know what it is. Keep on trucking.
Are you podcasting in here?
I was.
He was. We interrupted. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.